Hello, everyone. Welcome again to TGR Think and Grow Rich series. My name is Reshma and I'm from Inner Compass. So, welcome to again episode 1, part 2, which is the chapter 1 of Think and Grow Rich. And the chapter is Power of Thought. Both poverty and riches are offspring of thoughts. Thoughts are things. So, power of thought. The man who thought his way into partnership with Thomas Edison and discovered that one can certainly think and grow rich. Edwin C. Barnes had a burning desire to become a business associate, not an employee, but the business associate and a partner of the great Thomas Edison. His desire was very definite, wanted to work with Edison and not for him. He had a desire, but he was in no position to act upon it. He did not even personally know Edison. Neither did he have money to pay his train ticket to go and meet him. These difficulties were sufficient to have discouraged the majority of people from making an attempt to carry out the desire. But Barnes did not have an ordinary desire. He decided to travel by freight, cargo train, and he presented himself at Mr. Edison's laboratory and announced he had to come to go into business with the inventor. Why Edison agreed. Mr. Edison, years later, referring to Edwin Barnes, said, "He stood there before me, looking like an ordinary guy, but there was something in the expression of his face which conveyed the impression that he was really determined to get what he had come after." And he said, "I had learned from years of experience with men that when a man really desires a thing so deeply that he is willing to stake his entire future on a single turn of the wheel in order to get it, he is sure to win." I gave him the opportunity he asked for because I saw he had made up his mind to stand by until he succeeded, and subsequent events proved that no mistake was made. It was the thought that counted. It could not have been the young man's appearance which got him his start in the Edison office, for that was definitely against him. It was what he thought that counted. Napoleon Hill says, "If the significance of this statement could be conveyed to every person who reads it, there would be no need for the remainder of this book." And I'm going to read this sentence again. It could not have been the young man's appearance which got him his start in the Edison office, for that was definitely against him. It was what he thought he counted. Barnes' determination. Barnes did not get his partnership with Edison on his first interview. He did get a chance to work in the Edison offices at a very nominal wage, doing work that was unimportant to Edison. Months went by. Apparently, nothing happened. Psychologists have correctly said that when one is truly ready for a thing, it puts in its appearance. Barnes was ready for a business association with Edison. Moreover, he was determined to remain ready until he got that which he was seeking. Barnes' definite major purpose. He did not say to himself, "Ah, well, what's the use? So many months passed by and nothing happened. I guess I will change my mind and try for a salesman job." But he did say, "I came here to go into business with Edison, and I will accomplish this, even if it takes the remainder of my life." He meant it. What a different story men would have to tell if only they would adopt a definite purpose and stand by that purpose until it had time to become an all consuming obsession. Maybe young Barnes did not know it at the time, but his bulldog determination, his persistence in standing back of a single desire, was destined to mow down all opposition and bring him the opportunity he was seeking. Sly habit of opportunity. When the opportunity came, it appeared in a different form and from a different direction than Barnes had expected. This is one of the tricks of the opportunity. It has a sly habit of slipping in by the back door, and often it comes disguised in the form of misfortune or temporary defeat. Perhaps this is why so many fail to recognize opportunity. Mr. Edison had just perfected a new office device, the Edison dictating machine. His salesmen did not believe it could be sold. Barnes saw this opportunity, which came in form of a dictating machine. It had crawled in quietly, hidden in a queer-looking machine which interested no one but Barnes and the inventor. Barnes knew he could sell the Edison dictating machine. He suggested this to Edison and promptly got his chance. He did sell the machine. In fact, he sold it so successfully that Edison gave him a contract to distribute and market it all over the nation. Out of that business association grew the slogan, made by Edison and installed by Barnes. The business alliance has been in operation for more than 30 years. Out of it, Barnes has made himself rich in money, but he has done something infinitely greater. He has proved that one really may think and grow rich. Barnes literally thought himself into partnership with great Edison. He had no money to begin with. He had but little education. He had no influence, but he did have initiative, faith, and the will to win. With these intangible forces, he made himself the number one man with the greatest inventor who ever lived. He had nothing to start with again except the capacity to know what he wanted and the determination to stand by that desire until he realized it. Average man's familiarity with the word impossible. He knows all the rules which will not work. He knows all the things which cannot be done. This book was written for those who seek the rules which have made others successful and are willing to stake everything on those rules. Success comes to those who become success conscious. Failure comes to those who allow themselves to become failure conscious. The object of this book is to help all who seek it to learn the art of changing their minds from failure consciousness to success consciousness. One more story mentioned in this book, Henry Ford's determination. Ford decided to produce his now famous V8 motor and instructed his engineers to produce a design. The design was placed on paper, but the engineers said it was simply impossible to cast an 8-cylinder gas engine block in one piece. Ford said, produce it anyway. But they replied, it's impossible. Go ahead, Ford commanded, and stay on the job until you succeed, no matter how much time it is required. The engineers went ahead. There was nothing else for them to do. They had no option if they were to remain on the Ford staff. 6 months went by, nothing happened. Another 6 months passed, and still nothing happened. The engineers tried every conceivable plan to carry out the orders, but the thing seemed out of the question, impossible. At the end of the year, Ford checked with his engineers, and again they informed him they had found no way to carry out his orders. Go right ahead, said Ford. I want it and I'm going to have it. They had no option. They went ahead. And then, as if by a stroke of magic, the secret was discovered. The Ford determination had won once more. Get ready now. Henry Ford understood and applied the principles of success. One of these is desire, knowing what one wants. We are now ready to examine the first of these 13 principles. Maintain a spirit of open mindedness. And remember, as you read or as you listen to this journey, they are the invention of no one man. The principles were gathered from the life experiences of more than 500 men who actually accumulated riches in huge amounts. Men who began in poverty with but little education, without influence. The principles worked for these men. You can put them to work for your own enduring benefit. Episode 2 is going live on June 2nd. Our next video will dive into the very first principle, desire. Over the next 13 episodes, we will explore each of the 13 principles from Napoleon Hill's timeless success philosophy, one principle at a time, and discover how this can shape our mindset, money journey, purpose, and personal growth. Until then, be sure to check out the YouTube community, share your biggest takeaways from this episode 1, part 1 and part 2, reflections and insights, and let's create inspired conversations and meaningful interaction together. See you all on June 2nd, and I cannot wait to continue this journey with you. Again, my name is Reshma from Inner Compass. See you all soon.